Mm-hmm.
when I was in IIT Bombay and during my undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
And my undergrad was in metallurgical engineering and material science.
Mm-hmm.
And during that, it was a bachelor's and master's combined, so dual degree program
Okay.
that IIT offers.
Mm-hmm.
And I I did my undergraduate project and I built this little toy simulator. It's called the Heart Sphere Simulator. It's a small, sort of an educational project
Mm-hmm.
where you can simulate like grain boundaries, dislocations, etc. And we published a paper on that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then in my master's, I worked on pure zirconium and simulating zirconium grain boundaries with molecular dynamics, and also doing experiments to measure the grooving at the grain boundary to measure the grain boundary energy in combined experiment and simulation approach for my thesis.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great experience to see both sides of the story, and I appreciate how simulations and experiments can work together
Mm-hmm.
to give a better answer to the problem. Following the same path, I wanted to do something in the metallurgy section in the career and in general, but still open to ideas. I didn't want to confine myself to some methodology I've already known
Mm-hmm.
and done because it's still a young age. So I also actually did an internship in Germany where I worked on phase field methods, again
Mm-hmm.
trying to simulate microstructure and analyzing patterns in the eutectic alloys.
So you use what method do you use? You DFT or something?
So phase field
Phase.
is,
Okay.
do you know about phase field?
A little bit. I'm more of an
So,
experimentalist, so I have.
so phase field is more of a micron scale simulations, and you're solving partial PDEs
Okay. Okay.
basically
Okay. Got it.
to evolve your microstructure. You will have a different seeds, different boundary conditions, and you will see variety of microstructures emerge from the simulation.
But what guides them? Like what? How you come up with a rule that you come up with?
It's
Even for example, if there is a eutectic structure, how you come up with that?
so you can seed your microstructure
Uh huh.
with. So I dealt with tertiary eutectic, so it was a three-phase
Okay. Okay.
microstructure. You can seed with and have basic rules to allow it to propagate in the time space. That was just like a 3-month project.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I did my master's, and then I joined University of Florida, which was for hoping to get PhD position.
Okay.
But I joined as a master's program, and it wasn't the great experience academic-wise. I was hoping
Where is in
to
material
get,
science or?
yeah, in material science. And I was hoping to learn quite a lot more. At UW, I worked on a variety of projects simply because my advisor started working on composites.
Right. Right.
So for like first 2.5 year, or maybe overlapping between my main project and the first couple of projects, that I worked on composites quite a lot using Abacus and Moose framework, finite element softwares. I've developed the capabilities of both in Abacus and Moose. So basically, carbon fiber composites, it can be unidirectional woven. Modeling failure
Mm-hmm.
in material would be my main title, right? So right now I'm working on modeling. I'm doing crystal plasticity modeling
Mm-hmm.
for BCC Iron. Um, and that project started as a collaboration with
So Geeta,
INL and a bunch of other things.
right. So Geeta, let's talk about your career aspirations now.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
definitely.
that's I think most important. We can talk about research as much
Yeah,
as we can otherwise. Yeah. So let's talk about your real stuff, your thing, like what you are planning. I think I'm seeing some of your questions also, which are very relevant questions, and I have struggled with those questions myself too. So I think I give you some good advice. Um, but yeah, go ahead. What you are looking at and coming 2-3 years, and let's say 5 years down the road versus like that? What's your plan?
So like, okay, I will start with my mentality.
Mm-hmm.
What I always thought was true, or could be even true to this day, that I always thought that uh, if you want to do research and a good research and independent research, you would end up spending your time in academia or in national labs, where you have more freedom to explore new ideas, etc. And that's always I wanted to do. It's not like I want to stick to a very particular field,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to be challenged,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's why I ended up taking like three projects in my PhD
Mm-hmm.
too, because it makes me busy and I like exploring and makes my portfolio diverse too.
Right, right.
Um, so just looking for those kind of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
was always, I thought that I would end up joining a national lab,
Mm-hmm.
maybe for a couple of years, and
Mm-hmm.
then go to academia eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But like right now, a job market, if I'm looking at it, the other opportunities don't seem that bad either.
Which are?
For So like I'm looking for this one position where they are trying to develop their own package, simulating failure, etc. So if there it looks like there could be a lot of new opportunities and opportunities to learn something different as well while applying my capabilities to the research. So like if I were to go for academia path, let's say 10 years down the line, would it be advised to go for a private company
Mm-hmm.
and still doing R&D?
I want what I want to hear from you is what are your interest lies right now? What do you think? Tell me a scenario that you would say, if I can get this, this is perfect for me, or I would like to do as of now. And trust me, your
Um,
thinking will change.
if
So,
I get a postdoctoral at Los Alamos, that
okay,
would be a perfect place
perfect.
for
Okay,
me.
and I think you can.
Yes.
I think so. Here is the thing. Here, there's a problem with that. Let me tell you what. And the problem with that is, and just check a company, national labs who are funded by DoD
Hmm.
are less likely to hire internationals.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you have to find a place where at least you can get hired. So place like Oak Ridge would be a right place. A place like
Yeah.
PNNL would be a right place because they are DOE
Hmm.
and they do a lot of work. I mean, we were there. Del Putia was there. I mean, we did a lot of stuff, and he is a core computational guy. I'm not. I was an experimentalist.
Hmm.
So what I'm saying is, just make sure that you have those. So INL, Brookhaven,
Yeah.
Sandia, Lawrence Livermore. These are very less likely to hire internationally. So
Hmm.
just be aware of that fact. But if you ask me, can I find a position at Wyoming? Sorry, at Oak Ridge? Of course you can find. I think you have a very good capability, and trust me, there are really good people out there who would like you to be in their team, and you can. Um, so I did my two postdocs. I was at Johns Hopkins, and then I
Yeah.
was at Oak Ridge. I enjoyed both places, and trust me, I learned more there versus I won't say, but in my PhD also. But both places were equally good, and the reason was because somehow I found a good advisor as a postdoc at Johns Hopkins. But the better thing about being at Oak Ridge is, of course, my advisor was good, but at the same time, it the structure of a postdoc at a national lab is very different.
Hmm.
It's first of all you get more money, like twice, so you are making like
Yeah.
80 grands, which is like awesome.
Yeah.
The second thing is you have opportunity to collaborate and do things. So postdocs over there are more of course you have to do your job, but the way the structure is designed is you are supposed to be the next in line to become a lead in industry, to become professor. So that's how the training is. versus in academics where the professor is always on top of your head saying that do this project and do this project.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there too, over there too, but the way the pool of money comes in, it's like you are, unless until you do really something stupid, you are fine. And also it's, you can explore yourself in doing many things. So I had projects on that I started working on, though I was doing some the work which I was assigned to, but also I was doing work on flexible electronics and this and that.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
what I'm saying, it will allow you to collaborate with other people, do your own thing, and if you have a really nice advisor, he will say, why don't you go ahead and write your own proposal, things like that, and so forth.
Okay.
So that's that's always going to be the case, and I don't see why a person like you can't find a postdoc position over there. I can't see. I don't see that. I see that it's very easy. And to be honest with you, if you want something like that, talk to DP.
Okay.
Yeah, talk to him. He can probably give you some good references also. That whom he used to work with. Maybe that person is gone now, but he will definitely help you to do that. That's for sure.
Okay.
And being in academic, having a PhD, you and with your credentials, you are on the top 1% of the person who are most likely to be staying here in this country. So whenever you hear about immigration, this, that, and all that, just don't. That doesn't apply to you.
Yeah, and I also have a green card.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So that's what I'm saying. That so if and
yeah.
again, if you have a green card, that's even better.
Yeah, so I'm not actually worried about that
Right.
part
So
right
yeah.
now.
So that's pretty much solves your lot of problems. To be honest.
Yes.
One
Exactly.
thing I would tell you for sure, if you are planning to go for academic, and it's my strong advice to you is, make sure your next place that you go has a good brand associated with it. It has to be a top notch. So if I am looking
Okay.
for a postdoc academic position, I will make sure that either I do my next postdoc at MIT or at Stanford and stay there for a couple more years, and or Caltech, and do a really good job. Otherwise, it would be difficult. Otherwise,
Okay.
I'm not saying it's impossible. Otherwise, it would be difficult.
Got it.
But if you do that, I don't see that you will have a trouble at all, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think you should worry about that part. As far as I think one of the important questions you asked is, however, as I'm looking for jobs right now, companies doesn't seem less interesting. It is possible to get bored in a company environment. Can I push the boundaries and this and that? Extreme. It's very true anywhere, and more so in the company.
Okay.
So let's say if you are working in one of the best companies out there, right? And trust me, I have worked in, this is my fourth company. There's a difference between companies to companies a lot. So
Okay.
depends on, so if you talk about companies, there are two ways any companies work. You have a R&D core sector, and then you have a sector which makes some kind of a product where the revenue stream is coming, right? And I don't see you as a person working in the manufacturing sector, because that is extremely challenging. But for a person who is interested in research, and that sort of environment could be extremely boring. But if you are on the other side of it, which is an R&D sector, I think it can be very interesting. Like most of my work, as I told you, involves working with one uh, professors, and doing research and figuring it out what's new out there and so forth. But it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I enjoy that or I do that. All I'm saying is, if that's what you want to do, that's where you want to apply. And
Okay.
only companies who are, and there are very few jobs like that in any companies. So even if you go for a Tesla, you say, can I work for them which can do next battery research? Maybe, but there would be very few. If you're gonna say, can I work for an Apple and say, can I work on their next iPhone development R&D? There could be very few, but there will be.
Okay.
There will be, and I think that's where you want to go, which would be probably ideal for a person who has a PhD and is interested in doing research and so forth. But again, don't get too much stuck on this research loop also, because it's very dangerous. I have seen people who, once they got into that loop, they are there forever in industry, and then they can't find a job out elsewhere.
Got it.
But if you have made your mind, that I want to go to academics, I would say a nice postdoc at a better place for next 2-3 years publication would get you through. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing that since this project I started halfway through my PhD and it became my main PhD project, I don't have publications just right now.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter, as I said. Yeah, but as I said, it doesn't matter. See, here's the another thing. I'm not saying that you can't find an academic job right now, but again, how high your ambitions are. So let's say if you say, I want to become a faculty at Wyoming, I want to become a faculty at Rice University, I want to become a faculty at Stanford, or I want to become a faculty at Smith College, which nobody knows, right? You have to ask this question. Maybe you can become a faculty at Smith College right now, but if you want to become a faculty at Stanford, you probably know better than me that how much work you need to do then, right? That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So again, depends on your ambitions. Where are your ambitions?
Yeah.
So if you say, this is what I want to do, then yeah. So this is because faculty jobs are extremely challenging, but at the same time, one another thing I want to tell you, because you said you have a green card, right? So green card doesn't give you a leverage to find a faculty job or doesn't give you leverage to get into a faculty job, but industry does.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
just remember that too. So again,
Yeah.
what you would want to do, what you like to do. So if you want to become a faculty, then you have to put more meat in your work, right? But if you want to go for an industry, I don't think you have to worry too much about right now, because you have a green card. It may be very possible that you can find a job right now, but trust me, as a entry level PhD student, you would be doing some monotonous thing, which is fine. I mean, many people does that. Everybody starts from there, so that doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, applying for a right industry would be the right thing. But again, as I said, I have learned my lessons as I walk through and where I am now. But and same goes for anybody else. But I think that's a good thing that you have a green card, so you don't have to worry. That's a good thing. Yeah. Otherwise, it would be a much longer struggle for anybody, just like I did. So. So just make sure that you are choosing the right path, that what you want to select, because the path to faculty, I think you have a good chance to become a faculty member, to be honest with you, and for many other reasons too, that you would be a very ideal candidate. There is a fair amount of uh, uh, universities that are hiring women in general, so that's a good thing, because they see that we need to bring more diversity, so you can use that as a leverage also. And so all I'm saying is you have everything that is backing you up. All probably you need is a little bit good brand, and probably a couple of good papers, and I think you should be good to go.
Yeah.
That's what my feeling is. Otherwise, I, I don't want you to get stuck into a company which probably you won't enjoy, and as I said, then you will be on the path where you have to say, okay, I don't like this one. Maybe I switch to another company and so forth, which everybody does.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you want to explore that side of it, because for my reason of doing a postdoc was I want to still give my chance to say, can I find a faculty job?
Yeah.
But then something came along and